The firm was formed in 1979 as a tax business, estate planning, and transactional boutique for closely held businesses, family-owned businesses, professional practices, and their owners, as well as individuals. And I joined the firm in 1985. I'd been with a large firm in Buffalo before then, and I joined the firm primarily because of its transactional practice. And over the years, this has developed into where we have grown. We've grown so that we also offer other services such as litigation, certain litigation matters in which our clients are involved, real estate matters, even matrimonial matters. Sometimes our clients are involved in matrimonial matters. But the firm has really stuck to its core of being a business and estate planning transactional practice. We try to act as general counsel to smaller businesses, closely held businesses, family businesses that don't have in-house counsel. And so it'll be from working with the clients and setting up businesses, working with them with agreements among their owners, dealing with their employer and employee issues, contracts that they may come into, all the way through the time when it's time to transfer the business or sell the business or transition the business. And a great deal of our practice is succession planning with our clients. Succession planning is really transfer of knowledge, transfer of management expertise. It's the transfer of ownership, whether it's to a family member, to related parties that are actively engaged in the operation of business, or if it's to outside third parties. And since 1979, there's been significant changes both in the economy, in the tax laws, and how these transactions take place. It used to be as simple as mom and dad would transfer the business down to the next generation on pretty much no more than a handshake. And over the years, this has developed to where we need to be looking at structuring entities for acquiring businesses, reorganizing businesses, and a lot of that is due to the fact that with a family business, for example, the families aren't as large as they used to be. Where you used to have 5 children and maybe 2 or 3 are in the family business, you may have 2 children and nobody's interested in the family business and nobody's interested in staying local. They may be all over the world. So many of our succession planning strategies today involve bringing in outside people, key people that have been active in the operation forever and ever, as well as bringing up through the ranks junior people that can take over the responsibilities. But a great deal of succession planning, besides the actual transfer of the business assets, is, like I said, transferring knowledge, transferring your management expertise. And it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so we work with our clients, we hope as a partner over many years in developing a business, working with the family, the owners, and the business through the development years, through the years in which they're growing, right to the point of where they're going to be transferring. And we've represented many businesses through multiple generations of owners, from the first generation that started the business down to the second, third generation, however it may be. What really makes family businesses unique and closely held businesses, meaning that they're not publicly held, but they're owned by individuals, is that the primary goal for most of these businesses is and has always been the perpetuation of the business. Whether we're doing from one generation to another, whether it's through an estate plan that we're developing, the senior owner's primary goal is to be able to keep this business running. And with families being smaller than they used to be many years ago, we now have many businesses that the senior generation's goal is still the same. They want to perpetuate this business, whether it's with family members or whether it's not with family members, whether it's with key people that they've brought in over the years or whether it's from outside people they bring in for transition. Their primary goal is to perpetuate this business. And one of the reasons is they love their employees. They want to make sure their employees are taken care of. Although many of our clients find themselves in a situation because of our worldwide economy that they're forced to be able to be having to look at other sources, or that they may have to be acquired by other operations that may be outside of our geographic area, it's usually a last resort because clients really do want to keep their family business going. There's a great deal of pride in these family businesses and these closely held businesses, and perpetuation is their primary goal. Many times attorneys will ask us, or we're at programs where we're making presentations on law firm transitions, how do I get started in transitioning my practice, selling my practice. And that also ties into what an attorney may be looking from an economic perspective as he or she winds down his or her practice over a period of years. Because as they're trying to build up their own retirement funds, they may be also looking to sell their practice or to join another firm and have another firm take over their practice, and also all those files that they have the responsibility of. We have been engaged in many transactions over the years where we have acquired an attorney's practice. We had an attorney that was very ill, and he looked to transition his practice, and our practices matched up together very well. And one of the steps you need to do is to make sure you've got a good match. You can't put an attorney who does litigation in with an attorney that does purely tax or matrimonial and real estate. You need to make sure the practices complement one another as you start to develop a relationship to possibly be able to move your practice in with this other firm. In the practice that I described, we had an elderly attorney whose practice had dwindled down to where he was working out of his home. But had we not acquired his practice would have died with him. And as a result, we were able to acquire his practice. We were able to financially assist his family through the acquisition of the practice. But probably more important to him and to his clients was we acquired the files of all of those clients. I was on a bar association committee many years ago where we were looking at different scenarios that had arisen over the years where an attorney would die, would be disabled, or had just disappeared, and their practices were pretty much destroyed. They were put into bonfires. They were put out at the curb along with wills and trusts. So over the years, we've been trying to develop procedures for moving an attorney's practice from one firm to another, or even to bring in a junior person that can start working with the senior attorney and learn the ways of the senior attorney and start to develop an expertise, which works ideally. There's the ability to take your practice and to be able to move into another practice. Maybe it's a larger practice, which will allow you the time to wind down, to start the retirement process, and you're feeling comfortable because your clients are protected. We've established relationships with other attorneys that have pretty much said, look, if anything happens to me, I just want to make sure my clients are okay. And we don't really have any formal relationship with these attorneys, but we have an agreement and an understanding so that if anything happens to an attorney such as this, that we have the ability to take care of their clients. Because everything's protected by the attorney-client privilege. If an attorney who's a solo passes away, his office staff, his spouse or her spouse, cannot take over the practice because it's confidential. So there may be agreements that you work out with another firm or with another practitioner that if anything happens to one of you, that the other will step in and also preserve the value of the practice for the family, because attorneys, they work many, many years to build up the value of their practice, and they would like their family to recognize some value, some reward from all the efforts that they put into their practice. So when you're looking at transitioning a practice, there are just so many ways that you can accomplish that. But the first step is to start early. And start early with yourself, because you have to start trying to build up economically how you can afford to be in retirement. And a law firm is very similar to many other types of practices and businesses, and that owners just reinvest everything they have into their practice. So as it develops and it grows, it's not developing a great deal of cash that you're setting aside. So planning early is the best thing you can do with starting a practice transition, whether you're solo, whether there's 2 of you, 3 of you, or you're within a large firm.